Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. Bucs training camp is almost here, and it's time to look at the top five training camp battles in Tampa Bay this summer. Now, the Bucs have added another stellar draft class, a big name free agent signing Hassan Reddick, as well as a couple of other veteran free agents as well this offseason. Some of these newcomers, well, they're going to be involved in some of these training camp battles that we'll be watching at Pewter Report this summer, and that's the topic of today's Pewter Pulse video. We'll get into that in just a moment, but first, your honor, hit the thumbs up button on this video, give it a like, also leave a comment. Love reading your comments, and when you do those two things, it helps our videos go viral and gets us out in front of more awesome Bucs fans like you with the YouTube algorithm. So thank you very much for doing that. Also, head over to Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel, hit subscribe. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers and need just a few hundred more. So thank you very much. All right, let's get ready to rumble. And let's talk about the top five training camp battles in Tampa Bay, starting with the cornerback battle. That's right. We've got Jamel Dean in one corner and rookie Benjamin Morrison in the other. We're talking about who's going to start opposite Zion McCollum. Can Jamel Dean hang on to his starting role as he enters a make-or-break season in Tampa Bay? You know, when Dean is healthy, he's a really good cornerback who's capable of shutting down opposing receivers, but he's proven that he can't stay healthy and doesn't create the takeaways that Todd Bowles wants and needs. And that's hurt his cause in the eyes of the Bucs brass. That's why they went out and drafted Notre Dame cornerback, standout Benjamin Morrison in the second round. Todd Bowles wants some ball hawks, and that's what this guy is. He had 6 interceptions as a true freshman, added 3 more as a sophomore. Now, he's had some health issues of his own. He had a hip injury last year that prematurely ended his junior season and his career at Notre Dame. He entered the draft and participated in the Bucs rookie minicamp and a couple of OTAs. Then he injured a hamstring and missed the mandatory minicamp, the last 2 days of it at least. Also, Morrison remains unsigned as of the filming of this Pewter Pulse video, as almost all of the NFL's second-round draft picks are unsigned due to the fight over guaranteed money in the second round league-wide. So we'll see if Morrison reports to camp with or without a deal next week. And if he misses any more time learning Todd Bowles' defensive scheme as a result, well, the more that Morrison misses on the field, the more it diminishes his chances of winning this battle, because you got to be on the field to get those reps. But you know what? I think by the end of the year, or maybe by the start of the season, Morrison winds up as the starter here. All right. The Bucs also drafted another cornerback in Jacob Parish from my alma mater, Kansas State, in the third round at 5'10", 198 pounds. Parish doesn't have that ideal size to play outside in Todd Bowles' defense, which primarily features longer, taller cornerbacks like Jamel Dean, like Zion McCollum. Both of those guys are 6'2" and taller. Parish is probably the front runner, though, for the nickelback position, because he's a bit of a ball hawk himself with 5 interceptions in his last 2 years for the Wildcats, and he's a good tackler. But the nickel cornerback position isn't necessarily going to be a wire-to-wire starter this year like it was in years past when Christian Izien was the starter there in 2023, and then Tyke Smith was the nickelback last season. I think it's going to be more matchup-driven and on a rotation as a result. We're seeing bigger, more physical receivers in the slot these days, like the Falcons when they use 6'4" wide receiver Drake London there. The Bucs also use Mike Evans, 6'5", in the slot more as well to create some mismatches across the middle. Bowles could opt to match up 6'3" cornerback Zion McCollum against London in the slot, and then have Parish move outside where he played the majority of his snaps at K-State against smaller, quicker receivers like Darnell Mooney, for example, if the Falcons were to deploy those two receivers in that fashion. So Christian Izien's going to be in the mix at nickel. The battle for that nickelback job is also going to involve undrafted free agent J.J. Roberts, who will also play safety, but he's cross-training as a nickel. He's created some buzz this offseason. You might remember I did a Pewter Pulse video on Roberts earlier this summer. I still like Parish to win this job, though. There's something smooth and confident about his game, and he's also a bit of a splash player, too. But the fight starts in earnest on July 23rd when practice starts at One Buccaneer Place. All right, the third training camp battle is for the number 3 wide receiver role between Amecha Ibuka and Jaylen McMillan, who scored 8 touchdowns last year in that role as a rookie. Both of these young receivers will play a lot this year, especially early on, as Chris Godwin may not be ready for week 1 as he continues to rehab from ankle surgery. Ibuka is a natural slot receiver and may even start for Godwin early in the season if Godwin's not ready. McMillan is more of a Z receiver. That's the flanker position. Then he is a slot receiver. So comparing Ibuka to McMillan is a little bit like comparing apples to oranges. J-Mac's going to get plenty of playing time. He's earned it from what he did last year. But because Ibuka is a first-round pick, the rookie will probably edge him out on snap counts overall in 2025. The number 4 training camp battle that I'm going to be watching, and you should be too, is going to be the outside linebacker position between Chris Braswell and last year's second-round pick, or he was last year's second-round pick. I'm talking about David Walker, who's this year's fourth-round pick. Those two guys, Braswell and Walker. Braswell has made strides in his development after underwhelming as a rookie. In a season that saw him only post a sack and a half with limited playing time, I think he's going to be much better in year 2, now that he's having an offseason in Tampa Bay's strength and conditioning program. Walker was a day 3 steal for this team, really. I think a day 3 steal in the same way that Tampa Bay stole Bucky Irving in the 4th round back in 2024. Walker was a sack monster at the FCS level, and he dazzled in rookie minicamp before a hamstring injury slowed him down. And we'll see if Walker can make a quicker adjustment to the speed of the NFL this year, quicker than what Braswell did last year, and if he can earn the outside linebacker 3 role behind starters Hassan Reddick and Yaya Diaby. I think he will. All right. The final training camp battle to watch will be the camp battle at wide receiver number 5, which will also probably be the Bucs punt return job. Rookie Tez Johnson, the team's 7th-round pick, may have the inside track on both of those roles, wide receiver 5 and punt returner, as he was an accomplished punt returner at both Troy and Oregon. And he averaged 1,000 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns per season as a Duck wide receiver, playing for Dylan Gabriel last year and then Bo Nix the year before. Now, Tez Johnson plays faster than his 4.51 time would indicate, and he's very elusive. He reminds me a lot of Carl the Truth Williams, who was the best punt returner in team history with 5 touchdowns in his career. That's a franchise record that still stands today. Now, the other receivers that he's going to be battling include another Johnson, Cam Johnson. I think that's going to be the primary battle between these two for wide receiver 5, and maybe the loser is wide receiver 6. Cam Johnson was the sleeper in training camp last year before he suffered some injuries that cut into his rookie season. Cam Johnson is a very fast, athletic playmaker who's worth keeping an eye on. If Tampa Bay keeps 6 wide receivers, and I think that they will, Cam Johnson may find his way on the 53-man roster still. Now, Trey Palmer is also in the mix. He underwhelmed as both a receiver and a punt returner last year, and he's in danger of not making the roster. Still, he's in the mix, but is really going to need kind of a flawless training camp, and he's going to have to really go off in the preseason to stick around. Sterling Shepard, Ryan Miller, Raheem Jarrett, they're also going to battle for the final receiver spots. But I think that Tez Johnson winds up as wide receiver 5 and also wins the punt return duties. One other training camp battle that deserves some honorable mention, if you will, is the backup quarterback spot, where ever-improving 5th-year quarterback Kyle Trask, whom Jason Light and Todd Bowles both love, would try to hold off Michael Pratt, who was a newcomer last year, who spent the entire year on the practice squad after being drafted by the Packers and then going through the preseason in Green Bay. Pratt is he's got a lot of moxie, and he's got a lot of intangibles. There's a lot to like about his game as a quarterback. He's more of a field general. He's got some mobility. He's not exactly just a stand in the pocket and throw it guy like Trask is. So it'll be 2 contrasting styles, and we'll see which one emerges victorious in the preseason. Trask probably has the edge due to his experience in this offense from last year, being in Liam Cohen's system, which will be similar to Josh Grizzard's system this year. And he also knows the receivers and the tight ends and the backs to throw to with chemistry built over the last couple of years during his time in Tampa Bay. So what do you think of these training camp battles? Did I nail them? Did I hit the target, or did I miss the mark? Are there any other camp battles that you're keeping an eye on this summer? Let me know in the article comments below, in the video comments as well. Very interested to hear your thoughts as well. Make sure you head over to Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. We got a lot of content coming up this summer as Bucs training camp is upon us. You can hit the subscribe button and help us get to 20,000. We're going to have Pewter Report podcasts all throughout camp, and that's where you can find them, as well as my Pewter Pulse videos. Make sure you follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report. And pewterreport.com, the mothership, will have all sorts of Bucs content for you during training camp as we get ready for what should be a super season in Tampa Bay. And I'll be back soon with a new Pewter